Hi, this is Jason Schattner on Wolffoetowtech, and today, after everyone has nearly got through chewing on the 3 or 4 facts about it, Final Fantasy VII, as we all know, has been just announced to be the remake is episode episodic. Yeah, that's a funny word. Episodic, and I just had to check my cat to see if he was gonna rip my arm off. But this is what I think. First and foremost, I do enjoy RPGs. Uh, I didn't really dig too deep into the original Final Fantasy VII. It just happened to come at a time when I was busy with a lot of other games, and I was on a Nintendo system and it was on a PlayStation system, and it didn't quite work out. But I later on picked it up, played a few hours into it, and stopped right there because I had a ton of other games to play through, and that was just it. But but I can tell you this, and a lot of people are interested in this possibility. Uh, the new version of Final Fantasy VII, the remake, could this game lead to people who may have not have bought the game, the original version, new or played a few hours into it and just gave up? Would it be a better experience this time around than last time? And to be honest, I have played a few different types of episodic games. Not really the story telltale type games that a lot of people reference. I played the other kind. I played like Xenosaga, and I played games like Armored Core where you could transfer your mechs from one game to another and then to another and to another and carry over your money and all kinds of stuff like that, which is probably where Square Enix is intending to go with, is an episodic game where each individual game or episode is almost a game in itself. And that sounds wonderful. However, if I cannot backtrack to get stuff earlier in the game that I may have accidentally missed, that's a deal breaker for me. I really can't stand games that they're RPGs, they're open world, you travel all over the place, but there's a lot of stuff that after a few minutes into the game or at some various points you get cut off, and I can't stand that, seriously. Illusion of Gaia for the Super NES had this one little thing where the gem in the first town, I can't remember the name of the town, goofy damn it, but this gem, the fisherman has to fish the gem out of the water on one of your visits, but you could only visit so many times in the town, because you could only really move in and out so many times, and yeah. So if that was the one gem I could never get, I spent hours. I don't know why in the heck. Like, I erased my old file. I started over again and got that gem. But of course, I played through the entire game all the way to the end. And just because I didn't get that gem the first time through or the second time through, but I found out about it later and kept going back trying to get it and trying to earn that gem, but never could manage to get the gem. But some strange reason, my brother managed to figure it out. And then a few years later, either before it was pawned off by someone for beer money, not me. Seriously, no. It, I would never pawn off a video game for anything really. But I managed to get that gem. Got that little bonus area at the end of the game, game and everything. But That's it. What else can I say is, seriously, there's a lot of people who love exploration. I love the Legend of Zelda games like crazy because you can explore, you can look up and down at everything, you can go backwards and forwards in the game, and linked in the Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, you could actually travel back and forth in time to when you're a kid or go to the future when you're an adult. And wow, if I get the feeling that there's no return trips in this game, Final Fantasy VII Remake, or any way of pulling forward anything earned easily from or re-earned or found out about a later date and then transferred over to the newer files, or a master file system or something like that where you can always pick up things from older versions of the game and have it pulled forward. It's a deal breaker, seriously. I can't. I have too many other games to play, and I might get the first episode, but that's going to be a make or break right there. And of course, that's another thing is a lot of people point out there's another thing is a lot of the other episodic games, a lot of people will buy the first game or the second game, decide in there and you know what, I really don't want to spend more money to buy another one. I'm just walking off from there. And that could be a situation there where Square Enix could make the first one or two and don't do it quite right, and people basically say, you know, I'm not coming back for part three, assuming that it's a trilogy, and which is a suggestion a few people brought up. You know, 3 games, $20 each equals $60. Yeah, well, not exactly. There could be other things into that as well, but you really think it's going to be a trilogy or a duology or a quadrology? Put it in the comments. Square Enix has mentioned that they are going to be removing some things, and then but also adding some things. And adding something is a really interesting part. The subtraction. Hmm. One has to think about that one. Like exactly what they are subtracting. But let's move on yet again. What else could I say? Uh, I really hate it when characters die midway in the game. Seriously. Something like, I don't know whether they're going to keep that or change that or what. I don't know, but yeah, seriously. Well, any last thoughts? Now, the pricing model, and whether, back to the pricing model, if it's going to be $20 a game or an episode or $15, would this end up eventually costing you more than a standard game? Or, better question, would all that money equal out to a bigger game better? Bigger game in general. You're buying a $20 chunk of the game, and you get another $20 chunk of the game, and another $20 chunk of the game. And let's say they make it a fourth one, another $20 chunk of the game, make it $80, or even another $20 chunk of the game. That's each one of these are really big games, really fleshed out, but just over the $20 mark in value. How you would feel if you were buying a $20 game, you feel it's worth $20. If you spent $120 in chunks, and each chunk is of value of $20 or greater, say like $20 to $30 in value of personal enjoyment, would that be okay too? And that part I don't have a problem with, really. It's mostly the inability to backtrack or pull things forward from previous files. Someone has to come up with an awesome solution for that problem. Seriously, I'm not joking. Like a master file or something. I actually have a game concept I was working on when I was a little kid that had my own special solution to that problem. It was a game based around like a Pokemon mechanic where you have a master file and you have multiple versions and you could multiple areas or versions. Say like Pokemon Red, you have this area, you have Pokemon Gold and Silver, that area, Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire, that area, and you have this master file that you can travel between all these areas and then take all the stuff onto your master file and then play any of those areas out of order. Say like if you started with like a golden the if you started with Xian or Hoenn, you could play those games through, go to your master town or region, and then go off and play Pokemon Kanto and play through that with your Xian and Hoenn Pokemon, and then take that stuff back to your master file and just move around. And I have this really elegant system that Nintendo would just, oh my god, this is a genius idea to a simple problem of making a universal mechanic that could expand Pokemon into infinity. With some caveats, it might be hard to carry later versions of Pokemon into older versions, but I think this idea would be a good idea for a MMORPG Pokemon game. But back to Final Fantasy VII, and okay. So I asked you about if every episodic game is a 20 is worth costs $20, but you have 7 or 8 of them, not even 7 or 8, maybe you say like 5, and it came out to $120, but each one of those episodic games was of value of $20 or $30 of game content. Would you be good with that? And it's all in the balance. I really can't even dig onto that one. It almost sounds like a good theory, seriously. If you had the core story game, about 4 episodes, and they're really meaty, and then you had a fifth one that was a bonus episode of things that happened just kind of after Final Fantasy VII, immediately after, just fun and bonus stuff, extra story, extra things like that. And would you buy that? And then would, if Square Enix decide, you know what, it's all going good, let's make another episode on top of that and make that $20, and you could expand Final Fantasy VII onward to another 2 or 3 episodic games after that. is that okay too? And I personally think, you know what, that would actually be really cool. And I kind of like that. If I can pull things from the older versions into the newer games, and there was some way of accounting for all the stuff of that was in the old version, like a magic checklist of a special events like accomplishment list or something like that. Kind of like what you have in Me Plaza for the 3DS. That might work too. And I've gone really long on the video. Wow. Well, this could be something that really blows up on Square Enix. Seriously. And to be honest, final thought, Square Enix has very little experience in making episodic games. In fact, the last major episodic game series they tried to make, and this is going to hurt, was Final Fantasy XIII. And now does the pain and fear of all the good things that could possibly be with Final Fantasy VII Remake twist up a little bit inside of you. A touch of fear that the last time they made, besides Kingdom Hearts, but of course that could be like a regular RPG series. That's not even episodic. That's just there's many kinds of episodic games. There's planned trilogies, and then there's games that literally link from one game to the next, which is what we traditionally think of episodic. A lot of people will try to co-opt other games like Xenosaga into that, and that is a bit episodic, but it's really just standalone games in a pre-planned story arc. But Final Fantasy XIII, perhaps considered to be one of the worst Final Fantasy games in recent history, was originally intended as an episodic series. I'm going to try to look at the camera straight on. I have Asperger's and autism traits, so looking straight into a image is hard. But Final Fantasy 13 was the last time Square Enix did an actual episodic series of games or game, and that didn't turn out too well. In fact, Final Fantasy 13 by many critics have been cited as as one of the worst JRPGs of its generation. I think everyone should go get their mind off the madness. Go hunt down a copy of Xenoblade Saga, not Xenoblade Saga, Xenoblade Chronicles for the new Nintendo 3DS, or go and get Xenoblade Chronicles X for the Wii U and enjoy that. Because Xenoblade Chronicles was considered to be the best JRPG of last generation. It was a Wii game. The best JRPG was on a Nintendo system last generation. The worst was Final Fantasy XIII by many people. And that's major RPGs. That's not counting off the really weird, crappy ones that pop up every so often into the universe. So, there. Those are my final thoughts. Please vote on the video and comment. I will greatly appreciate it. I need the feedback. And please watch my past videos and tell me what you think of the progress I have made in producing these. It's still a little rough, but tell me, what do you think overall, and what else can I do to improve? Also, please consider hitting the subscribe button and giving me a chance. If you heard, I cough a lot, and I'm a little concerned about that, and I might some point not be able to do much in the way of physical work, and hopefully at some point I might be able to get to some point on YouTube where I could at least pay my bills with YouTube. I'm not talking about becoming a multimillionaire like PewDiePie. I'm talking about just living off of YouTube. Just making it. I don't have to have that much money. I just need enough to live. Maybe invest in some fun stuff. I'm going to unpackage these at some point. I've not decided exactly when. I'm thinking Chibi Robo up there. It's That's fun. I can't even point at Chibi Robo. He's in the far top corner. Right next to Yukon Cornelius. And he'll be the first one I'm going to unbox. Just to share and enjoy. What else? Thank you for your time. Don't forget to vote and subscribe. And my cat Orange needs kitty food at some point. I was trying to pull him over, that cute, hey, this is my friend Orange. And say hi, Orange. But it didn't work out. He just wanted to, grab onto the corner and just stay there. But thank you very much for your time. Have a wonderful evening, or morning, or day, or night, and don't forget to do don't forget to do drugs. Don't forget to not do drugs. See you.